Well, my salon people in Monado, today na the 23rd of June 2023. This na we usual program Team Up for Salon with Good Governance program na the TBS online radio. And today, at the eve to the general election, and we get another big man today. Now we studio. We're actually ready for can talk to the general public. And this man where we get today, this big man where we get today, now the big man when it comes to political party then a salon. Well, when it comes to good practice, best practice of salon politics, now the big man done it. So today, we go get this big man here, and he go can tell we about waiting the happen at the political landscape na salon. He go can tell we update. He go can give we briefing. He go can tell we exactly waiting, and they on floor updates. He go give we updates about we political activities presently in a salon. But me fumble them out there. This is a TBS online radio program. And if you want to be part of this program, or you want to be part of the activities of TBS online program, or you want to be part of them platforms, please don't hesitate for contact +232 76 17 3186 +232 76 17 3186. Now we contact number this if you want to be part of the TBS online radio, or you want to be part of we platforms please don't hesitate for get onto we. We always there at your disposal. We there for talk on salon political issues, socio-economic. So me famble them. This not the best place for get credible information. Because salon, the way we don't look at salon now, salon, the lie news, the propaganda is too much. So now the only platform this, now the only institution this, we go ready for give you news where now facts and nothing but facts. So me fumble them. Why should they try for get on to this big man what they talk about? He go can't talk about himself. He go introduce himself. Let we get this music where we know say we guests go like this music. Owner self out there go like this music.
Politiki manye, politiki kolombare, manye parati, politiki kolombare. Sentala, mborobala, nete politik. Nette police, politique mani, politique colombare, manye sabati, politique colombare. Obi Fabi. Oti facile, Obi Tanobi, Obi Jambasini, vive le président, appelle le président, vive le général, appelle le général, obéir pour la mode, quelle est Obey Bola Chekelenita. Politics money. Politics Colombare. Mwenye farati. Politics Colombare.
Well, me fumble them today, the 23rd of June 2023, as I've been done notify on earlier, say today we get the big man when it comes to politics na salon, regulatory body, the one where they oversee all the political party them, say we get them today now we program team up for salon, when a good governance program where they come to we all from TBS online radio. Well, here we go. We don't get them. And from this voice, the next voice we go hear now the big man himself, he go introduce himself and tell we other na him. Well, good evening,
Yes,
sir.
Good evening.
Do you other way they talk to?
You talk to Abdulai Masiyambay Bangurah, we are the chairman for the Political Parties Regulation Commission.
All right. Thank you very much for getting you now we program tonight. And as today na the eve of we general election, and you na the man where they in charge of regulating with political party then a salon. Do you can give we an update about how we political party they non behave themselves, and from where you take up office to date, waiting at the achievement, the experiences, and what's how they head for.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we'll start with the conduct of the political parties during the campaign period. Because that one day look contemporary at the moment. And indeed, we as a commission, we charge with the responsibility of regulating political parties. We can take certain proactive steps in terms of putting out guidelines as to how we want for political parties to conduct themselves during the campaign period. And we can get some incentive views on some of the guidelines that will be put. But even those who are opposed to the guidelines and they don't come back to win and they commend we and say, on hindsight, we think we're supposed to don't support you from the start. And we being lined up a lot of activities, all geared towards promote peace and tolerance between and amongst political parties and their supporters and membership. So we start with calling them to a meeting and inform them, say, we don't get a new act, the Political Parties Act of 2022. We don't give you powers we will not been get before. And when we're not been getting powers, then they will not be misconduct on ourselves in a number of ways. We will not be able to do anything about it because we will not be get enforcement powers. We will get all the regulatory powers, but we will not be get enforcement powers. And now the new act don't give you the enforcement powers there. And the powers basically they speak to three important things. And when a political party they conducting activity, enough for issue out public insult and provocation against a political opponent. You also not for obstruct your political opponent in your own party activities. Then you not for destroy the political opponent in campaign materials. And also what you will get as code of conduct when I mean just a gentlemanly arrangement between us and the political parties. Then code of conduct and now they don't incorporate them into the new act and therefore they don't become law. And then code of conduct and they also they speak to a number of things in terms of perpetrating violence when in a campaign and all of the bad things they will be they see when political parties them they get their rallies. So we call them to a meeting that what they want to be the misconduct themselves in their manner there, but will not get any option. So when the public be they grumble justifiably, the Pprc they set up or when they regulate them and they have their behavior. But now they misbehave all over the place, Pprc not able to do anything. We say then and they will not be getting enforcement power. We can get a very convenient excuse will be the give to the public that will not get powers. The most we can do now for call them back, admonish them, we'll sign MOUs where they not be the respect. We say, but now we get the powers, and we're not going to definitely sit down and allow una or continue for misconduct on ourselves in the manner so we don't misconduct on ourselves, and we do nothing. This time we are accountable to the public because we are put here to do a job. And we're not going to sit down here at the end of the month we receive a paycheck, and then the job will then put in our for no able to. So one law all come low anger. When I say let's street processions, there will be the get. It's necessary for law to get them now. And if when I say yes, when I go ready for face the consequences we the new acts we don't get now, it don't prescribe a lot of the conduct they will not be perpetrate, and it don't prescribe penalties, sanction the way we get the right for impose. So if we continue with the street procession there, when I therefore be ready for face the consequences in the events when our supporters they misconduct themselves. So all the political parties we sit down, we deliberate on her, and we all agree say, for this electoral cycle, now we suspend the street processions they will then be get. Let political parties then campaign at designated area and make sure see the supporters and they go to the areas and they is smaller group. They know what they go there again in that large group with them blank come up, then they block traffic, then they make parents they're not able to send them beginning at school for men confront each other, then the beginning being caught in the fray. Businesswoman they be afraid for go open their shop and sell because they don't go want to political parties then come out by where they make blabber then say being caught in the fray. And so all of this be the inconvenient the public. We live in a subsistence economy. And when you live in a subsistence economy, it means people need to go out every day to fend for their families or put food on the table. So if the political parties that they come out, for instance, for the 1 month where they be giving for campaign, and you make people not able to go out for go fend for their family, you're killing people. So now on the basis of that, we all be agree, say, let we suspend the street rallies there. In terms of compliance, they not comply fully, but at least it's better than it was because all man they agree say the procession not be the obstruct traffic. Even who side they come out in small numbers, then they make sure say they left one lane where the traffic be the flow. And that was all we wanted. Because some human rights activists they say we don't infringe on the rights of people to assemble and associate. And maybe they challenge and say, no, we're not infringe anybody's right. And we want to let people that know say political parties don't ever campaign na street. Now process them they process to the designated areas where they always they campaign. So what will be the edit? Now that procession where they be get, where they distress the public, now will be one for edit. So I mean we are not, and again your right to associate and assemble is dependent on the rights of others. And the Constitution clearly states, Section 26B say, in the exercise of your right to assemble and associate, if you threaten public peace, you threaten public morality, and threaten public safety, then the relevant authority get right for use any available law for restrict that right. So now that's what we do. When we don't do that one day, we'll also be get some programs that we recall. These are programs will be old and organized for ensure say we prepare the ground for ECSL, when they get a very enabling environment for conduct the elections. We'll be able to be called unhindered access.
So Mr. Bangurah, the same act where you quote just now, it apply to the one they working usually say then they go protests, then they go demonstrate. You know, I don't know if that the reason that whilst the police they make reference to the 1965 Public Order Act, that way you want to do protest or demonstration, you get for go get clearance, and there must be somebody that's responsible an organization. Does it mean the same act where you could just now in the exercise of a procession, if you damage or whatsoever, you'll be held responsible? Does it apply to that as well?
Now, we on act, it relates to electoral activities, basically, and party activities. Protests can be organized by non-party. So, I mean, that is why the police then reference the Public Order Act, I think it's Section 17. Now, in the regulate that one day. And as you say, if you want to go protest, you get for inform the Inspector General of Police. And when the Inspector General of Police get that information, they self then get the power for invite you to a meeting. For let you come, make you know who the organizers of the protest are. And when you don't know their identity, may they agree on the number of persons where if you say them as police, then go able manned and control them. Let us agree also on the routes where the protesters therefore take, so that you know will confront with any other person where maybe not in favor of your protest. So all of them small things, and the owner and the police supposed to sit and agree on them. And in the event the Inspector General of Police they of the view that this protest is likely to threaten public safety, they get right for say, the grants, permission or clearance for Leone go on. So it's all a question of interpretation. But the fact that they get the power for invite you, Leone they don't plan the protest in terms of the number of persons you are pulling out on the street, and in terms of the route to for take, and how long the protest for takes for Leone go disperse. I mean, it shows that it gets some authority for ensure say it regulates the conduct of the protesters, so that them with the protest, the life no go there at risk, and then self no go unnecessarily put the life and property of others to danger.
Well, Mr. Bangurah, una when are the parent body for them political party then yeah. If them political party they want protest, which part una they play? Is there any provision say then for consult una or then for go get clearance? If then they go get clearance from the police, I don't know which part una they play as a parent body for the political parties. I don't know if there is any connection, because there are political parties and they want protest, just like what the APC do recently. I want to know which parts, or is there any provision that they forget approval first from una, or una get for links have as a synergy between the political party and the police?
Well, we don't get for give approval for protest, even if it is done by a political party.
Okay.
Because we not get the capacity.
Okay.
So in such way, we man that protest and protect public property. Okay. And the persons of individual will not get a capacity there.
Okay.
So therefore, when it comes to protesting, you get for go to the Inspector General of Police.
All right.
Now they get the manpower, and now them the law give the authority for restore law and order where there is a breakdown of law and order. So when it's a protest, you go to them. We now when party activities, like for instance, if they do the lower level election for constitute the organs of the parties, they will come to we. Now we all sit down, we plan and we monitor them. And in the event any of the membership agreed with the outcome of those elections, their own party elections, then they come to we by way of a petition, and we look into the petition. If we find, say, within the petition that they allege it did happen, and they're in consonance with their own party constitution, with the political parties act, and with the constitution of this country, then we annul that election there and direct them back for many good one. When it comes to the review and revision of their constitution, and then their rules and regulations for the conduct of the intra-party election, then they come to we. They send the draft to we, publish and the government gazette, then we invite objections. Any member of the public get right for object to any provision of a party constitution. You don't need to be a member of that party. And when we receive their objection, we can call for hearing, we listen. If the objection gets substance, we pull them, we ask you for go expunge or pull that particular provision, then you party constitution. If you don't get substance, we dismiss her and ask the political party for go ahead. And also, when it comes to them organizing their national delegate conference, they're supposed to come to me. I will see them in plan. But if it comes to protest, that's a matter for the police.
All right, Mr. Bangurah. One thing the way I don't think about. Recently, we see waiting happen two things, because according to an amendment, she said there are several successes, but been a few things should have been added to that amendment day to an act. First and foremost, I've been to look at the insurance side of it. Insurance, I can explain that to you. Secondly, again, we see what happened recently, because that's not good for the image of the country. Whereas, for example, if political party, then they in their activities, then they lie, some dangerous thing, the way it go make it go, it go even make people outside not go and kind of the country. Recently, we see what happened with the APC protest, when the former mayor, they allege that people were killed, bloody everywhere, and all that thing, and they. And some statement then they were not for be made, sometimes, because if una they restrict, tell political party, then say they're not for make insults, then insults languages them there against one another. What about when it comes to a situation whereas you see a political party, they make some serious allegation when facts are not in there? What are the punishments or waiting when I get for say towards that? And also I talk about the insurance side. For example, if then they do like a protest now, or then they then go first now then party office or something happen, then people are wounded, then decide for go without, they not get clearance from the police, they not get no approval, then decide for go, then innocent people, gullible Sierra Leonean supporters or so-called supporters, then go die or then damage. Whether they take the responsibility and all that thing, and I don't know if the PPRC they look into some of that thing there. So I was thinking that maybe PPRC can look at the situations there, that somebody must be responsible. The political party must be responsible, or I don't know which body for be responsible in such a situation, because we don't see a lot of we brothers and sisters, then they go through them thing, and today as we talk, people in a hospital, today as we talk, people in a police custody, and also and on and on and on and on. So who that they take the responsibility? Now that make I'm sure the police and always they say there must be somebody responsible. In a situation like that, who that they pursue then thing and they for resolve the issues and then take care of the one in the hospital and at least bail the one in a police custody and follow up the legal thing to be done.
Well, all of what you refer to are offshoot of the protest, whether they and the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to protest, as I don't say earlier on, that's a day within the remit of the police. And anything we get for do with violence is within the remit of the police.
Okay.
So we, as a commission, we are constituted to regulate political parties, not individuals.
Okay.
I mean, the incidents where they refer to, that just they impugn on the integrity of the person, we make them baseless allegations, and I don't know why people should be so condescending. Firstly, it paint shot a negative picture of your country to the international community. The entire world, it give a picture, say, in your country, I mean, the government, they shoot and kill party activists, and the blood, they all over the ground. That was unfortunate, and that was really too small and condescending. And therefore, in 1990, let us imagine, say, the membership of the APC or supporters of the APC in some other parts of the country, where maybe they have strong presence. If they may react and fall on other people, then you are more or less inciting people for what you can call maybe genocide, because definitely if they have gone out and say, okay, they don't kill people in our party office, we are also going to retaliate. When they go self, when they kill people, when they say that they're responsible for that onslaught, where you don't put out. I mean, I think that's too desperate, and I don't think say anybody for go to that extent for do that one day, particularly somebody of the caliber of the individual will do that. You've occupied very high offices in the state, and leadership is about self-restraint and selflessness. We know for the allow, when you are a leader, one thing you should always fight against, you know, for allow you emotions for get the better of you. The office I'm occupying, as you may be aware, constantly will they come under attacks, both physical and verbal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to say because a particular operative of a political party don't cost me, mama. You don't attack me, stab them physically. You don't do this, you don't do that. Again, for take them out on the party. The party as an institution don't do me anything. I mean, whosoever targeted us or insulted us is an individual. And sometimes maybe the party may not even be aware. So this is the same thing. You cannot say because maybe you had an issue issue with state security, you can go to the extent of demeaning your own country, where you reclaim for rule and govern. I think that was too far. And I think, as I say, that is seriously impugn the integrity of the person we do that.
And Mr. Bangurah, I was shocked because I got an interview with the publicity secretary yesterday, Mr. Yaya Tunis, because he confirmed to me, say, one person died. And but the news web in the camp before that, before I interview, if you go on social media, then say several people were killed and all that thing and they. So now that make a raise up this issue, say it's so scary and it's not good for the image of the country and not good for the image of everyone of we, because the way then would look at
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All of those allegations were made by the same individual. We really try to paint a very bad picture of this country to the entire world. And even when she came back to refute, which he be don't say, he still claims say and tell and say 3 people that don't die and several other persons wounded. So even maybe the correction or so we can do back later, he's still putting things in the way not happen. So it's just that I don't know. How can we be so moved by our emotion? And how can we have such an opinion about others? I mean, I can always tell people and say, you can constructively search the conduct of any public official because all of us are paid from the consolidated fund. And therefore, we owe a duty to the public. And every member of the public get the right for such we conduct. That's the right everybody has. But when you want to abuse that right and try to weaponize a segment of the public against a state institution or state official, that's sad. Because at the end of the day, you're in politics and you never know. You will get governance, you get power, and definitely those offices you feel. I don't think if you are in those offices, you will want to be treated in the manner where unnecessarily then they profile you, unnecessarily then they stigmatize you, and unnecessarily then they paint you in a way where you not be. And most of these things sometimes they come out of utter disrespect for other people. People can be so contemptuous of their fellow men, either because they feel say they have a better background than the other people, but people from sophisticated backgrounds, I think these are people really will for be modest and be respectful of others.
Yeah.
So when you think you are from a sophisticated background or you are a better background, your conduct should be reflective of that background.
You're right.
You nobody claim that kind of thing and then you begin to behave as if you're coming from some low-class family.
All right. Well, me fumble them. We did talk to Mr. Bangurah when are the chairman for the Pprc, when are the regulatory body for all we political party then as alone. Well, Mr. Bangurah, this time round, when we look at the political party them where they contest for the upcoming election when are tomorrow, we see say the number don't reduce drastically. And even the position of presidency, we not see most of the party then where even the contest they go in for the presidency. I don't know which mechanism you use. Taking a look at your background, young as you are, and people that don't occupy that position there, people that went like your grandpa them, and you now the first young Pprc boss where we don't ever see. What are the challenges and which mechanisms and you put in place for make you able to regulate the political party the one that will not be even relevant, not for even able get chance for coming and just for occupy space where not relevant? Which mechanisms are you put in place?
It's a very tough one. It's very challenging, but as I say, when you are in that place, you therefore really be measured in anything you do and say, and also you get for make sure say you exercise a lot of restraint because the peace of the country is in you hand. We did deal with politics and politicians. Those are very, very volatile commodities we deal with. Politics is very emotive, and a good number of politicians are very erratic. So you can imagine the challenges what they get in dealing with those people. But normally we stay focused and stay in the middle and try to win the confidence and respect of the political parties. At the end of the day, even if they don't show it in public, but within themselves, they will not say you've done what you can, but let you sit in the middle and be very neutral. So yes, it is tough and it is challenging. But when I took up office, my focus has always been on the membership of the political parties. As far as I'm concerned, the parties are owned by the ordinary members. Because if you do not have a membership, you will not have a political party.
You're right.
Those in the leadership of those political parties, now opportunity they give them, a privilege they give them to man the affairs of their party then they. So my focus as head of the Pprc has always been take the interest of the ordinary members. So anything that threatens the relevance of ordinary members by a political party, then you will have me to contend with. So this is why I have not been a very good bedfellow with the leadership of political parties. Because when I stand my ground in protection of the rights of the ordinary members, they can see and say, or rather they can perceive and say, is an affront to their authority. But I don't care. I know I was put there for a purpose, and I'll continue to stay the cause. For instance, when you are doing your lower level elections, my principal focus has always been on the ward election. Because you know, say parties then get paid at them. You start from the ward, or some parties that they call them the zonal executives. Then from there you go to the constituency executive, you go to the district executive, you go to the regional executive, and then the national officers.
I agree with you.
And my focus is always on the ward executive. Why? Because now the ward executive level, now the ordinary member of the party can vote. So this is where I am focused. And when you constitute the ward executive, that ward executive becomes the electoral college for the constituency executive, and then they elect the constituency executive.
And I see how you put foot down during the APC saga with the lower level election.
Oh yes, that was a little challenging. You know the problems the APC had and the division they had. So I mean, many times we come under attack, but I knew I had a clear conscience, and I knew my interest was for the ordinary membership. So depending on which action I take, the reformists, those who came to reform the party, then they accuse me, say, I have received hundreds of thousands of dollars from His Excellency the former president as a bribe. Yes, and I will take another action. The established executive that was in office, they will also accuse me that I have been weaponized by His Excellency the president now to fight against them. But I knew neither of those were true, or rather, neither of those was true. So I stayed in the middle, and I was very much focused.
With a thick skin.
Yes, and in their own case was very special, because all of what you will be do respecting the EPC was a court-ordered process. So I was focused on ensuring that I interpret the judgment or whatever order we then get, we tell them, say, for do a particular thing. Within that order, they say, now me be the focus on. I know they allow anybody for take me off that course, because I'm not the ones for me, they arraign me for contempt of court if I do something contrary to what in the judgment or the order say. So that is where I mean, they get problems with them. And it's not only peculiar to the APC. Even when I was doing the lower level elections for the SLPP, I faced similar problems. When you stand your ground, say, let us do the right thing, some people sometimes can see you as an enemy. But in the case of the SLPP, what he saved the day, His Excellency the President, as leader of his party, he began to call me and call the leadership of his party and warn them strictly. Say, this is a state institution. and then get a function we cut out for them. I don't want anybody for let it continue for molest them again or attack them when they are doing their job. So because you are the central command as a ruling party, when the leader speaks, we will get some respite.
So that was a fair play at all level.
Yes. So, but in the case of the opposition, I know see in opposition normally they get a central voice where everybody they listen to.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's difficult to get somebody who protects the institution.
Yeah.
So when they face them challenges then but as I say, somebody has to do the job, and then they cost mama them. I mean, I'm a very regular something, and then I did buy your menu. Even now, it cost we then but as far as I'm concerned, Adebayo himself is a victim. Because to me, I think if he able to appreciate the effects and consequences of what he is doing now to himself, to his family, in terms of his children and other people, I don't think he will do that. But because he not get the capacity for appreciate the effect of waiting that they get them for do, that's why he keeps doing it, and it is he do something with people they admire him for. But imagine 10, 15 years down the line, and you have a daughter, and they tell you, this may be your papa in expertise. In be there no more for cost people their mama. I don't think any child will be proud of a father of that nature.
You're right.
And I don't think any family that is responsible will be proud of somebody.
We get one Creole saying, says black man no one born Chris man, but he want see him, he want laugh at him.
That way they maybe they look at, or I can always they look at Adebayo erratic outbursts them when he gets against people. I think he is also being a victim because I don't think it's enlightening enough for appreciate the effect of what he do to him and his children in the future.
Well, gullibility plays a part there. Well, Mr. Bangurah, let me take you back to the SLPP and the NGC. You see, under your administration, we don't see a lot of new things that they happen. And new things that when they happen into a political landscape, like the NGC and the SLPP, we see them get a strategic alliance. It's just like in business, we call a joint venture. In politics, we call an alliance or an affiliation or incorporation or whatsoever. Now, how you see the NGC in alliance with the SLPP? Because the whole idea with waiting we understand when we watch the memorandum is about Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. This is not the first time where the every politician and they really consider Salone as an object for say this is the way forward. Because usually we don't see politicians and then self-interest supporters and then just for support them political candidates and people that really support them political party them, but not Sierra Leone. But this time around I see two serious political parties that come together. Then say okay, let us put we ego aside and look at Sierra Leone. How do you see such a move? Is it something viable for Sierra Leone?
Well, in the first place, that's something the political parties have to provide for. Although I think there is a misnomer in the name where they get to the Act because they refer to the Act as a merger, and I don't think that's a merger. That should be a coalition. If two political parties then choose for coalesce, there is nothing wrong in that. That is why when they invite me as chairman of the political party regulation commission, when they launch the alliance, they make a statement, I went there. And people be passive in a way. But you see, as long as you know, sometimes people make statements out of ignorance because they don't know what in the law say and what in the mandate could give you. If two political parties they coalesce and then call you as the regulator for say, this is the coalition we have done and we want for launch officially where they call you for coming. Firstly, the public needed to know if that they within the remit of the law, what in them do. So I was there to confirm that, say yes, it fall within the remit of the law. They can come together in a loose association for a specific purpose. I mean, it is only when they want to merge and then one of them will be required to lose their identity, then they will need to do a fresh registration of the new movement that will come into being. But this one, they maintain their identity, so they don't need to do any registration because it's a temporary coalition we don't make for a specific purpose. So I was there, and people were also comparing that to, you remember we can get something we they call COP.
Yes, with the APC.
COP,
The NGC with the APC.
Yes, with the APC and all the other parties that wouldn't be said, and they inside the association, we not averse to any political parties forming an alliance, but what me concerned about, as I tell you just now, now the survival of the political parties. And anything we skewed towards creating division by the political party and for threatening the survivor of my political parties, then it will have me to contend with. When COP come into being, no sooner than constitute themselves and announce the membership of COP, plenty political parties, the smaller ones, they came out and denied being members of that particular association. Some even wrote to me. And upon inquiry, I find out, say, in every political party, you get a dissident group.
Yes,
and these people, what putting they do, they tap from the division of the political parties, and then they call the dissidents them for go meet them and declare, say, their political parties are part of COP. In the first place, most people will be making that declaration and not get the capacity for do so. They not get the authority for do so. So basically, they use them as a pawn. I'll give you an example. Even the person who was the chairperson of COP, even a deputy leader, I think she was called Nansu Fofana also, and at the Unity Party, I mean. She had to resign from that political party there because, in our opinion, the leader, who is Femi, took the party to COP without consulting the other members of the executive and the membership of the party. So she, as the chairperson of that party, even young party, they in disputes, say they are not members of COP. So this was why I thought that it was a problem. According to ADP, we've been doing some mediation for ADP, and clearly there are people where Kambariba be appointed to certain positions where in the Kambariba not being get the power for do so as leader of a party. In party constitution clearly spells out how you can fill vacancy where they exist. You know, when the vacancies and they didn't come, he just call in cronies them and appoint them. And not to him for do that. Now the National Executive Council of Union Party and then for fill vacancies where they are with them at the party. So we rule and tell them people that they will give up their position and we appoint an interim body. COP knew that. And instead of dealing with the body where the regulator don't constitute, they choose for go deal with the people there we don't tell say them for relinquish their position and the way they begin them wrongly. So it's like you are destroying my political parties. You look for dissidents, then you go, you recruit them, and in they come falsely and declare, say, now in they bring that party there into COP. When you don't get the mandate, you don't get the authority for do that. So this was the problem. I wrote to them. They said they wanted to see me. I said, well, you can only see me if you correct the mistakes that we don't make, because by then I took it as a mistake. I see people then they will sign the letter we don't write to me. We don't get the capacity for sign that letter there in the various capacity where they purport for whole and their parties because they don't have those offices. So remove those names from, even if now we have 2, now we have 3, or even if now all 17 political parties come together, I have no problem with that as long as I am satisfied that their membership of that association they deal with the consent of every member. Let me tell you, even with the SLPP and NGC, the alliance, Dr. Dennis Bright and a good number of other persons resigned. You understand?
Yeah.
From the NGC because then, in my view, maybe they support the alliance. But if they had remained in that party and they had a dissenting view, definitely I was going to challenge that alliance. You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm not able to challenge the alliance now because they have left the party. So they are no longer members of that party. You understand?
Yeah.
And therefore, those who stayed, then choose for go with the SLPP. Or if Dennis Bright, Doctor, and others who went away have stayed, and then I had a letter from them challenging that association, I will have acted. You understand? That's the difference, you know. But they have left. So if you have left, you are no longer a member of that political party. So your views no longer matter.
Well, Mr. Salon people, and we they listen to Mr. Bangurah when they head now the Pprc, the regulatory body for we political party na Salon, and you they listen to Team Up for Salon, now we good governance program, na TBS online radio. Mr. Bangurah, you don't explain so much about all the activities. You don't give it an overview, a background, challenges, successes. Do ya? We already said today una be so busy, but people then go on know waiting actually una be busy they do today where tomorrow na the election.
Well, the activity will be get today, na in climate, all of the activities will be don't put in place. For ensure say we create the enabling environment for ECSL. I can always describe myself as they are John the Baptist. We are them forerunners them. Now when they come, we do what we for do for ensure that they get the enabling environment for men and we will conduct the election without let or hindrance. So today we'll be able to call Peace March. And this will be a 2-day program. We started yesterday. But yesterday we'll be there at the 14 electoral districts in the provinces. We'll be there at all the district headquarters towns with the same program. Today, we'll be there at the city and the 5 regional headquarters towns with the same program. And the program, we title a Peace March. And the intention is to ensure that we mobilize people on the cooling off day when no political party don't get right for campaign again. So we come out as the regulator and preach peace and tolerance. We targeted the young persons. We not them the politicians that get used for perpetrate violence. And we sensitize them that this is about them more than it is about us, the older people. So we tell them the importance of them votes and that men will not allow any politician for take the power of them votes. That are the only instrument we they get for checkmate the authority of them politicians them. Not to cutlass, not to stone, not to gun. It is take for such the authority of them politicians. Now that ballot where you get. That ballot is so powerful. And some of the rogue politicians, then they are aware of the power of your ballot. And then he wants to steal that power from you by perpetrating violence. Because when they perpetrate violence, you don't go get the opportunity for exercise your franchise. And by so doing, they don't take the power where you get over them from you. So we encourage them for respect that power and ensure say they go quietly tomorrow, they go cast their ballot. And after they cast the ballot, then walk home peacefully and wait for the announcement of the result. And now only ECSL get the mandate for pronounce the outcome of an election. Nobody else has that mandate. So all of those we educate them today, we encourage them not for going at the polls in particulars. Particulars in the sense here, particularly those we identifiable with the 2 main political parties, the red and the green. We don't want for Syrian colors than they. And we also encourage them, say, when you vote, don't hang around the polling station because all of the 14 political parties, the way they participate in this election, they all get party agents them. And it is the responsibility of those party agents to seek the interest and protect the interests of the political party by ensuring that they observe everything. And if there is an issue, they challenge it and report to their political parties. So you, when an ordinary voter, you don't get no business hanging around those polling stations after you don't cast your ballot. Now for go home and wait. We also encourage them that the one day we get for be fortunate for me they win or the political parties they win, men they celebrate responsibly. We don't want to see the scenes where you win, you take pot cover, you mad before your neighbor, where you feel safe there on the other side, you can knock that pot cover there. And then kind of provocative wave of celebration, and you can break sonko sonko. So we encourage them, if you are celebrating, celebrate responsibly. Not celebrate with the intention of provoking.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bangurah. We're almost on the count to the end of this program, and once again we say thank you, because you don't really give me a lot of information. We don't give you an overview about una work and waiting una don't do so far for make we reach us out this. So at this moment we go ask you for make you give your last word to the general public advice. So waiting will be your last word to the people of Sierra Leone.
Well, my last word from them tomorrow, na the day for Leone go exercise una power, where una get over una politician them. So we as a commission, we appeal to una Leone not allow anybody for wrestle that power day from una hands. Leone make sure say una day of good conduct. You go na the pool, you exercise your franchise, you go home and wait. If you continue to allow politicians them for the preach violence and una they hiking to that kind of message which they talk for let una go into violence, they don't go ever respect una. Because they know say when the time comes now for calm and incite una, fool you, set up una against each other, una they fight, then they get what they want. So una respect una power, una get over una politicians them and make sure say una not allow them for setting up. We are all one people in this country. We are a family. The country is so small that everybody fumble to everybody. Here in person get issue just now when I sit down and talk in less than 5 minutes. If we are not fumbled by blood, we are fumbled by region, we are fumbled by tribe, we are fumbled by school, we are fumbled by marriage. A lot of relationship there where they mix it. In a small country of 7.5 people, almost everybody relate to everybody. So law will not allow election for set to be apart, and law will not allow politicians then, but they always make we respect we set. They not go respect we. Because they always set fire we, and we will respect, they escape scrutiny, and that will make we not able to evaluate them. So they are go tomorrow peacefully, vote. You will win, celebrate responsibly. You will lose if you get an issue on the outcome or the conduct of the election, follow the law.
Thank you very much. We all get for follow the law because the law na in the guide we all na salon. Now that we be not to tell people and say, do you not allow outsiders then for incite you? People then they abroad, we get with diaspora brothers and sisters and then just be listening for incite. People that when they back home, go burn police station, go burn law courts, kill police, all in there, yeah. When I don't listen to the head of the Pprc, this now advice we don't send to the general public. Salon, now we all get them. Salon, now we for protect the image of this country. And make politics not bring misunderstanding. Can make politics not make we destroy we own place. We are tired for the gonna neighbor country as refugee them. We tired for the totes bundle me fumble them. So we need for come together. We need for reconcile ourselves. We need for forgive ourselves. In politics, you must hurt somebody. One thing Mr. Bangurah will impress me so much, but he always use President Bio as an example. You know, when President Bio they made a campaign before 2018, 2012 election, 2018, you know, say President Bio in one way or the other step on a lot of toes. You know, they get issue with a lot of incumbents that were within the same SLPP. But when he win election 2018, I begin look at the footstep of what they do. He begin reconciling himself with all them people there where he begin misunderstanding with. Going to that power. When you get power, now that time you for make friends. Now that time you for reconcile with the one the way be where you and them may not be in the talk and all that thing. I was so impressed with that action of President Bio. And we hope say other leaders then go look at that as a way say yes, you can reconcile with people. Where you get the opportunity for serve as a leader, you get for make sure say you turn around and reconcile yourself. And this country, now that we need for now. Reconciliation. Yes, if you want to say something, sir.
Yes, if I can make a statement on that as my closing statement finally.
Yeah.
They always be done, they refer me political parties in all of the engagements I get with them after the Nigerian election. for me to emulate the example of Peter Obi.
Mm-hmm.
We will be the follow that Nigerian election. Peter Obi had a lot of promise. Almost anybody who is anything in Nigeria supported him. You know, the celebrities in, how do they call their own, Nollywood?
Nollywood.
I mean, the footballers, even Jim Amanda, one of my icon in Nigeria, they all supported him. But when the result comes out otherwise, Peter Obi no cost state officials. You know, cost neck. The first press conference we called, the strongest word we used in that press conference day was the elections that will go down in the history of Nigeria as the most controversial. That is the strongest statement. I know area may cost the neck officials in Nigeria. I know area may cost government. I know area may cost the sitting president. Instead, at the end of the day, he advised his supporters them for be peaceful and that in they take the legal path, if they go to court, for they challenge the results. That is what we call leadership.
So you want
a leader no allow emotions for get the better of him.
When
leader they contain those who are behind him. He know they follow within the lead they tell him. That is why you are called a leader.
Well,
you're supposed to guide those who are behind you.
I get a reflection with Sam Sumana where in Sakam they say in people and nobody not for fets, nobody not for jump na treats in the go courts. Is it the same?
Well, I mean, it's the same. Even President Bio in 2012, when he lost the election and he was aggrieved, he went to the court.
Yeah. And
you understand? You don't call his supporters them out for men and cause mayhem. In spite of all the challenges, he went to court and challenged.
That's leadership.
And even when the matter did not come out in his favor, he went away and did what he was supposed to do. And when Ebola break out, he came and supported the fight, government fight against that disease.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bangurah. We don't come, Tim don't catch we don't come to the end of this program. And we go keep in touch with you. Anytime something come up, we will always get on to you. And we thank you tonight where you're able to join we. Now, we good governance program, Team Up for Salon, now TBS, online radio, and we will continue for keep in touch. Definitely. Have a blessed evening. God bless you and enjoy your night. Yeah, thank you for all the Yagba. Yeah.
Yeah.